Imagine a place that looks like Earth. Trees, animals, and even cities, the only difference being that it's about half the size. What you're imagining is a world where humans have managed the gargantuan task of terraforming Mars. While this is a possibility for our future, the undertaking of this wouldn't take a couple days or even a couple years, more like several decades or centuries. But it begs the question, how would we even make this a possibility? The idea I'm sure you're bound to heard of before is one from Elon Musk, who shared his idea of exploding nuclear bombs over the polar ice caps on Mars. He claims that the radiation would not be an issue as the explosion would be in space, but the heat it would release would vaporize the frozen carbon dioxide to a greenhouse gas. It would also warm the planet and cause the polar ice caps to melt. But this raises ethical and scientific questions of its own. The resulting melted water could easily cover the planet to a depth of a few 10 meters. But the carbon dioxide released would only double the atmospheric pressure, which would still not even be close to what it is on Earth. Another way to possibly begin to terraform Mars would be to use large orbital mirrors that would reflect the heat and the sunlight to the surface of Mars. If a large sized mirror was to be pointed at Mars, it could raise the temperature of an area a couple degrees. The idea would be to point these mirrors at the polar ice caps to release the greenhouse gases. Scientists have proposed building mylar mirrors that would have a diameter of 250 kilometers and cover an area larger than Lake Michigan. These mirrors would weigh about 200,000 ton, which with current technology would be impossible to launch from Earth. Another possibility would be to set up solar-powered greenhouse gas factories, using the same problem we are currently facing, climate change. The same heating effect would be used by setting up hundreds of factories on Mars. In order to transport these factories to Mars, they would have to be lightweight and efficient. These greenhouse gas machines would mimic the natural process of photosynthesis, inhaling carbon dioxide and emitting oxygen. It would take many years, but the Mars atmosphere would be slowly oxygenated to the point that Mars colonists would need only a breathing assistance apparatus and not a pressure suit worn by astronauts. One idea proposed is that hurling large, icy asteroids containing ammonia at the red planet would produce tons of greenhouse gas and water. For this to be done, we would somehow need to attach nuclear thermal rocket engines to asteroids from the outer solar system. The rockets would move at about 4 kilometers per second for the period of about 10 years, before the rocket would shut off and allow the 10 billion ton asteroid to move unpowered towards Mars. The energy released upon impact would be enough to power Earth for a decade. Several of these missions over 50 years would create a temperate climate and enough water to cover 25% of the planet's surface. However, the asteroids would delay human settlement for the planet for centuries. While we may reach Mars this century, it could take several millennia for the idea of terraforming to be fully realized. It took Earth billions of years to transport into a planet on which plants and animals could flourish. To transform the Mars landscape into one that resembles Earth is not a simple project. It may take centuries of human ingenuity and labor to develop a habitable environment and bring life to the cold, dry world of Mars. If you got it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.